video is for H. This is a new example that Yeshiva University paid John Scarfone, Associate General Counsel, to lie in criminal court about me. Please see page 198 of my criminal trial transcript. Quote, we produced in federal court. So let's go look at page 198 of my criminal trial transcript. This is page 198 of my criminal trial transcript in front of Judge Edward McLaughlin in criminal court. And this is what we're looking at. Mr. Scarfone has asked, and I'm going to read it out loud right here. Mr. Scarfone, is it your position that Miss Radin has received her unedited medical, educational, and financial records from the Albert Einstein College of Medicine of Yeshiva University? Well, the direct quote is from Albert Einstein College of Medicine at Yeshiva. And here's what John Scarfone replies. We produced in federal court during her litigation, and we produced in response to this court's subpoena certified copies of her educational records. That's a lie. Now, I went down, it's a two-part lie, and the first part is they did not produce during my federal litigation. Now, I sued Yeshiva University's medical school in federal court. This is at 500 Pearl Street, and anybody out there can go to 500 Pearl Street in Lower Manhattan. This is the Federal District Court, the Southern District of New York. You go to the third floor, the Court of Appeals, and you will be asking for, my name is the plaintiff, that's R-A-D-I-N. These are the CDs I got of all the documents that were submitted during my federal litigation, and we're going to go through them, and I'm going to demonstrate that my educational records were not produced. None of my records from the Albert Einstein College of Medicine of Yeshiva University were produced during my federal litigation. Now, I had to sue the school in 2004 to 2007. Pardon me. In 2009, John Scarfone and other dishonest individuals associated with Yeshiva University went down to Manhattan District Attorney's Office and pressed false criminal charges against me, claiming they were annoyed that I was compelled to contact the school to obtain my records. At criminal trial, as we just looked at on page 198, John Scarfone says, oh, we produced her records. And what he's saying, in effect, is she has no legitimate purpose in contacting the school. She's annoying us, as in aggravated harassment. I was illegally charged, illegally convicted, and illegally incarcerated because my medical school, the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, pressed false criminal charges against me, claiming they were annoyed that I had the temerity to call them up and ask for my complete, unedited financial, educational, and medical records. Now, they did not produce in response to the criminal court subpoena with Judge McLaughlin, and I am preparing a list of all the information that they deliberately did not provide. Not enforcing a valid subpoena is a crime, and I can charge the judges involved. But before we get to that, I went down to 500 Pearl Street, and I went to the third floor, and I went to the Court of Appeals, and I got the 2 CDs of all the documents that were submitted in federal court during the litigation that John Scarfone testified we produced in federal court. No, you didn't. I made copies of this. Law enforcement has copies of these CDs. So do my attorneys, so do other people. And now, to make this ridiculously easy, I'm going to surf through this. I did a little test run, and it took me about 30 minutes to surf through one. It'll take me about 30 minutes to surf through 2. So if you've got these CDs, you can sit there with a bag of chips and a soda, because that's what I did, all you have to do is scroll through the documents and you'll confirm for yourself that John Scarfone lied. He committed perjury. The Manhattan District, and this is one example. I'll be presenting more examples of the dishonest, crooked doctors, crooked lawyers, crooked judges, and other dishonest individuals associated with Yeshiva University and its medical school. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go through this one. I already have it up on the computer. The docket number here is 07 for the year. 1359. So if you were to go down to 500 Pearl Street at the Federal District Court, go up to the third floor and go to the third floor Court of Appeals and ask for the Radin, R-A-D-I-N, is the plaintiff, and the docket number is 07-1359. You can get a copy of this CD. I'm making copies of this. I'm going to flood the United States of America with this. And every pre-med group needs this information. This is life-saving information. Yeshiva University's medical school, the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, lies to criminally convict an innocent person. So we're going to go to the desktop. We produced in federal court. No, you didn't. Here's the CD. And we're going to go through the CD. Now, when I timed myself doing this, it took about 30 minutes. And we're not going to read through any of this stuff. All we're going to do is scroll through it as quickly as we can, and just to confirm that there are no educational records here at all. And then we're going to go through, this is going to be the first segment. And then we're going to do, so this is the docket number 07-1359. There's another CD that we're going to scroll through in about 30 minutes to confirm that there are no educational records there either. And then there's a few subsequent videos that I'm going to do where I'm going to show again that John Scarfone lied. So, and this is going up on the internet, and it will be emailed to every pre-med, elected officials, and law enforcement. Law enforcement already has these CDs. So here's the first document. Okay, so this is the Radin file. And let me just increase the magnification a little bit. And now we're going to scroll down. No educational records here. Nope. Now, when I did this yesterday, I sat in front of a computer with a bag of potato chips and a soda, and just scrolled through this. Yep, looks like some court papers. You don't really have to read it. All you're looking for is educational records. Anything that looks like performance evaluations here. This is a docket index. That's what this is. No educational records here. Yep, this is how stupid it is to attend the Albert Einstein College of Medicine of Yeshiva University. You actually have to go on public access TV, you have to make videos and post it on the internet, because that's how much these people lie. This is how you can spend your life if you go to Yeshiva. Nope. There's no educational records here. Now, it's going to be a little, it's going to take a little bit of time to get through these first few documents because they're lengthy, but the ones at the end will go very quickly because there's not much there. Okay, so here we go. Notice of filing. Nope, nothing here. No educational records here. Nope. Okay. Oh, here we go. We're looking for educational records. And remember, who's got a copy of this? Law enforcement. So law enforcement is going through this and confirming everything I'm saying right here. There's no educational records here. Nope. Some court papers. Looks like this is a form. A T-1080 form. Oh, this is me. I'm making some arguments here. Right? These are my motion. This is my opposition motion and my cross motions. So basically, this is just communications from me to the court. And I'm just scrolling through this. You don't even have to. Oh, fraud does vitiate all proceedings. Yes, it does. But this is just my motion and my cross motion. You can see from up here, this is page 5 of 99 pages. So this is just my motion and my cross motion, and I'm making legal arguments, but there's no educational records here. And yeah, we have to go through the stupidity of this exercise. I should play a little music while we do this. I did speak to law enforcement today, this morning. This is Monday, February 6, 2012. It's now 7:48 p.m. in the evening, and I'm spending half an hour on tape scrolling through all of this. There are attorneys out there and prosecutors out there. I'm putting this up on the internet on my YouTube channel, CrookedDoctors, and I have friends who are prosecutors and attorneys in other states. So I'm going to scroll through this so they can see that there are no educational records here. This is just page 17 of 99 pages of a motion that I made. There's my affirmation of service to Dan Rizal of Sive, Paget and Rizal, the dishonest law firm. Yep, here we go, my exhibit list. There's absolutely no reason to read any of this because the only reason we're scrolling through all this is to confirm that there are no educational records here. It's a little bit of now, how many people want to attend the how many pre-meds want to attend the Albert Einstein Freak Show of Medicine, where they can have the university, Yeshiva University, pay its attorneys to lie in court? They actually will lie about you in criminal court. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office will cooperate in the crimes of perjury. There are other crimes that the Manhattan District Attorney's Office cooperated in. Oh yes, let's mention the names of the Assistant District Attorney. Oh, look at this. This is October 2005, where I'm talking to the United States Department of Education. Looks like my complaints against Yeshiva University for federal student loan fraud came first. Oh, there's my letter from Congressman Crowley's office introducing me to the state agency. We'll get to these details in a late. Oh, look, this is me going to the Inspector General's office about federal student loan fraud in November of 2005. My complaints against Yeshiva University came first, Detective Cologne. We'll get to these details later. Law enforcement knows what I'm talking about. Oh, look at that. February 2006. Looks like my congressman was writing Sally Mae saying, you know, what's going on here with federal student loan fraud. And here are some more documents that I submitted into court. This is Robert P. Patterson. Robert P. Patterson, Jr. He's the judge. So Mr. H, you can say hello to Judge Patterson. This is another stupid ruling he made. And my notes. Nope, these are my notes. He's deliberately mischaracterizing. He's covering up for Dan Rizal's perjury in federal court. But again, the point of this exercise, and I'm just making some comments as we go through this. Oh yeah, look, Judge Patterson, they lied. There was never an appellate hearing at the school. That's just another lie that Dan Rizal told. But the point of this, this was Judge Patterson trying to cover up for Dan Rizal's perjury right here. But the point of this exercise is just to scroll through all these documents so that I promised law enforcement today that I would show them page 198 of my criminal trial transcript, wherein John Scarfone claimed that the school that we produced in federal court certified copies of Lydia Radin's educational records, and there are no educational records here. So far, this is page 43 of 99 pages, where I'm making, oh, I'm going to post this on the internet so everybody can read about Dan Rozelle's perjury. Yep, here we go. No educational records here. Yeshiva University claims to be a religious school, and they pay its attorneys to bear false witness. That's some religious school you got there, Rabbi Lamb. Yep. Oh, these are all the people I carbon copied to. Oh, yeah, we'll get to all these details. Contained in these documents is more evidence that John Scarfone lied and changed his story. And we'll get into those details in another video. But again, the purpose of this exercise is just to scroll through all the documents to confirm that there are no educational records here. And we're on page 55 of a 99-page motion that I submitted. This is with exhibits that I submitted in federal court. Yeshiva University and its attorneys did not produce my educational records in federal court to federal court judge, district court judge, Robert P. Patterson, Jr. Oh, by the way, Judge Patterson, I can email the entire Columbia University Law School. I can email every law school, all the defense attorneys, all the pre-med organizations to show that Yeshiva University and the federal courts are a clear and present danger to others. So far we're on page 64 of 99 pages. And when I did this yesterday, like I said, I was listening to the radio, snacking on some chips. Oh, look, these are, this is some of the federal rules of civil procedure. Law enforcement asked me about these, so I provided those. Look, they're already there. Yeah, a law enforcement official asked me about what a 60B4 motion was. So it's right here. Rule 60, relief from judgment or order, and it's for a 60B4 motion for newly discovered evidence. The judgment is void, or you can do newly discovered evidence, a 60B4 motion, fraud. We'll get to those details later, but so far, no educational records. Oh, the falsified promissory note, but Yeshiva University did not provide these to me. Sally May faxed these to me, and this was in June of 2005. So this was newly discovered evidence a month after Judge Patterson ruled against me falsely. So this is newly discovered evidence. June 2005, Judge Patterson had ruled against me 1 month before in May of 2005, but the school did not produce these. I got these from Sally May, who had the originals. And here's the statute of limitations. This shows that Linda Tacoma lied. There's a, oh look, and I even have my nice little notes where I say there's a 1-year fraud discovery rule for criminal prosecution, and there's a 2-year fraud discovery rule for my underlying civil claims, as Judge Patterson knows. And I made some notes here, but again, no educational records. Oh, here's Jimmy David, a complaining witness against me, lying. We'll get to that. The psychiatrist who lies. James David, MD, he was Associate Dean for Students. He's a dishonest psychiatrist. He's a psychopath. He lies. These are his memos that he initialed. See, this is Jimmy David, a complaining witness against me, initialing his memos, where we'll get into all those details, where he comments on the full and part-time status of students. Here we go, Jimmy David, a complaining witness against me. These were initialed, and these are internal school memos that were released in another case. They were released in the Javon Paddyar case, and his attorney, Tom Shanahan, released them to me. So I love this part, after blah, blah, blah left the room. We'll get into all these details. Part-time basis of students. Look at that. They're commenting on the full and part-time basis of students. Jimmy David and all my little notes. to help law enforcement through this. Yep. The school claimed they had no part-time students. There was no at least half-time program. They lied. Here are the memos that show that they lied. But once again, the purpose of this exercise is to scroll through all these documents to confirm. Oh, look, this is an affidavit from Alan Raskoff. Alan Raskoff signed this affidavit. He is a activist in the gay community. As we're scrolling through this, that's Alan Raskoff who provided me with this affidavit. This is the affidavit of Javon Patiar, a student who is part of the Yeshiva victims group. And anybody who wants, I'd be happy to, you know what, anyone out there, because I'm posting this up on YouTube, anyone who wants can send me an email to CrookedDoctors@yahoo.com. That's one word, CrookedDoctors@yahoo.com. And I will be happy to burn a CD and to mail it to you at my cost. It should cost me about $1 or $2. So yeah, and I'm going to post all these documents up on YouTube. And once again, there are no educational records here. Alan Raskoff was, oh look, this is Marlana Abramova. In her handwriting, she provided me with these documents to show that we were held to different standards. I was required to sign a contract releasing Yeshiva University's medical school and Yeshiva University from liability in my case. I refused to do that. And here's Marlana Abramova saying, you know something, we were held to different standards for different students. There were no mandatory procedures for reinstatement. We'll get into all these lovely little details about how Yeshiva University lied. Oh, look, here's John Scarfone in a letter that he's sending to, oh, look, the New York State Higher Education Services Corporation in Albany, you know, the state agency that doesn't exist. And here's Martin Bachstein. He's general counsel. The evil brains of the operation is Martin Bachstein. And, oh, look, I'm just going to point this out in passing. Look at that. John Scarfone says, in Miss Radin's first year at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, that's ACOM, the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, she failed 3 courses. No kidding, because later on, after January 9th, 2006, John Scarfone changes his story and he lies. And he says, Miss Radin failed all her courses. Here, look, he's lying. First he says, he changes his story. In Miss Radin's first year, she failed 3 courses. Then after this, he changes his story after we go to the Higher Education Services Corporation in summer of 2006. And he says, oh yeah, she failed all her classes except for Todd Olson's anatomy class. We'll get into all those details about how John Scarfone changes his story and lied. So here we are on page 91, and so far we don't see any, oh, that's confirmation set of facts. No educational records here. Oh, look, Yeshiva University knows that a student includes any individual with respect to whom an educational record is maintained. Yep. And why are we going through? So that means they know that the stupidity that they argued in federal court that says a former student cannot correct their records, it's just a lie because they know the law. And they're even stating it in their school policy. A student includes any individual with respect to whom an educational record is maintained. No differentiation here of former student, huh? Because they lied. And the federal court's upholding their lie. But we'll get into those details later because right now, all we're looking at is, do you see any educational records here? Nope. Oh, look, here's some more evidence that John Scarfone lied. This is the affidavit, the reply affidavit of John Scarfone in the Marlana Abramova case. And look how he changed his story from Miss Radin failed 3 classes in her first year. And look how he changes this story to say, in fact, Dr. Olson's anatomy course is the only class Miss Radin passed during her first year of medical school. Yep, we can watch how John Scarfone changes his story through time when he's confronted with the truth. And once again, there are no educational records here. Okay, so here's another document of mine. This is, 87 pages. Okay, so let's scroll. It'll get quicker towards, let me zoom in a little. It'll get quicker as so this is a reply motion. This is my reply to whatever it is. And once again, whatever stupidity Yeshiva University is arguing. But again, now remember, I made copies of this. I gave it to law enforcement. I'm burning hundreds of these. I'm going to give them out to pre-med associations, elected officials, law enforcement. If you happen to be in the vicinity of the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, located at 500 Pearl Street, you can go upstairs to the 3rd floor and you can ask to see, this is the docket number 07-1359. The plaintiff's last name is Radin. That's me, R-A-D-I-N, Lydia Radin. And you can look at these for yourself. And you can confirm that years later, because this is happening in 2004 to 2007, years later, in 2010, John Scarfone gets on the witness stand in Manhattan Criminal Court in front of Judge McLaughlin, and he says, oh yeah, we produced Lydia Radin's records in federal court. And what he's trying to do is say, she has no legitimate purpose in contacting us. Yes, I do. I have a legitimate purpose in contacting the school. I was not harassing them. John Scarfone is a liar. I had and I continue to have a legitimate purpose in contacting my medical school to get my complete, unedited medical, educational, and financial records so I can correct them because they've been falsified. And I'm preparing right now, oh look, this is my little handbill when I handbilled Congress. Boy, they didn't like this when I was commenting on the way Yeshiva University had lied, claiming that they were non-denominational when they in fact are a overtly religious school. There you go. Oh, the secret bench memos. We'll get into that too. Yep. The secret bench memos. Apparently, the judges communicate with each other through these bench memos. And I'm not the only person who noticed this. I was talking to attorneys saying, there's something really wrong with these courts here because you're submitting good evidence and good law, and the judges are returning these bozo rulings that make no sense. And then they start talking about the bench memos, and we're like, what bench memos? And I talked to one attorney who's like, yeah, he was saying how he couldn't sleep nights because he knew he was right. And he went down and he talked to some of the folks down at the court, and they're like, oh, we knew you were right, but the guy up against you was a big guy in the Democratic Party. This is Judge Patterson's handwriting. That's Robert P. Patterson, Jr. And again, we don't see any educational records yet. So far, these are just my fighting Yeshiva University's lying attorneys. Oh, he likes to argue the niceties of procedure against a little pro se litigant like me. Isn't he a great, big, wonderful judge? What a pack of liars. So this one attorney was like, yeah, I knew I was right. I went down and I talked to the court personnel about it. And they're like, we knew you were right, but the guy arguing against you was a big guy in the Democratic Party, and we wanted him to look good. So we let him win, but don't worry, you'll catch it on appeal. And me and this attorney are like, they got to be kidding me with this. And the only thing I could think of was, does your poor client know that his money and time are being wasted while these judges play games with his life? Yep, here we go. So far, we're up to page 47 of 87. So when I was talking to S this morning, I promised that I wouldn't out these individuals. When I was talking to S this morning, I was like, yeah, listen, this will take about half an hour. You've got the CDs, put on some headphones, listen to some music, drink a little soda, eat a bag of chips, and just scroll through this, and what you'll see is that there are no certified copies of my educational records in federal court, because John Scarfone is a liar. He committed perjury, and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office helped him commit perjury. That's called subordination of perjury. That's a crime. And my privately paid attorney, nope, I provided this. This was part of my student handbook. Yeshiva University did not provide these. I had these. In fact, I gave them to other students to help them. And this is from 1995 to 1996 when I was a student there. And students that I was trying to help needed these policies, so I gave them to them. But the bottom line is John Scarfone committed perjury. That's a very serious crime. And, oh, this is part of the learning environment. This is part of the standards of behavior. Oh, yeah, guarantees the rights of due process. We'll get into that, too. What a pack of liars this school was. Oh, and this is Yeshiva University's, the hearing procedure that's provided to its law school students. This was presented to Judge Patterson. Judge Patterson, this is the hearing procedure that Yeshiva University provides to its law school students. Can you show me the hearing procedure, the written, published, faculty-approved hearing procedure that Yeshiva University provides to its medical school students? No, you can't, because it doesn't exist. And these are my notes. And we'll get into these details a little bit later, but right now, all we're doing is looking through. Oh, this is you're allowed to quote from the press, because you can quote any public record. And all we're doing is scrolling through to make sure that there are no educational records here. So when John Scarfone in criminal court, this is all going on between 2004 and 2007, nope, no educational records here. Yep. So far this is just me communicating to the court and the opposing counsel. Nope. No educational records here. So when John Scarfone, remember this is happening in 2007, when John Scarfone 3 years later took the witness stand in Manhattan Criminal Court in 2010 and swore that that the school had provided, we produced in federal court. No, you didn't. There are no certified copies of Lydia Radin's educational records anywhere here. And we're confirming that with this exercise. And remember, these documents were scanned. They're on the hard copies of the computers. My attorney, law enforcement, all has copies of these CDs. And you don't really have to read anything. You just have to scroll through it and confirm for yourself that there are no educational records here. That's the Judge Patterson writing some more stuff. We'll get into that later. And yes, there's all kinds of litigation points right here. Oh, here I'm providing the Code of Federal Regulations for ease of reference and making my litigation points, which I know are effective because Yeshiva University changes its story. There you go. Oh, look, this is the Yeshiva victims fraud. Ultimately, Javon Padiyar and Marlene Abramova discredited themselves, and these are the details of the Yeshiva victims' fraud, which are submitted in federal court. And no educational records there. Let's see if I can go through this. Okay, these are 8 pages. And this is a motion. No educational records here. So when John Scarfone went into criminal court in 2010 and said, we produced, and he's trying to make the argument that he's trying to support these false criminal charges. I keep saying I have a legitimate purpose in contacting the school to fully access and correct my records, that I'm not engaged in the crime of aggravated harassment. If anything, I'm the one who was harassed, continues to be harassed, and I'm the one who was stalked and continues to be stalked, but there are no educational records here. Okay, these are 53 pages. This is where I'm arguing for, this is my motion, where I'm arguing, I want the entire Second Circuit Court of Appeals to look at this because it's illegal. And I make reference to Margaret Spellings. We'll get to that in a minute. In 2007, in May of 2007, there was an open public hearing in Congress concerning student loan fraud that I attended. But again, there are no educational records here. This is my motion. We're scrolling through my motion. This is Lydia Radin's petition for rehearing, and a petition for rehearing en banc. I want the entire Second Circuit Court of Appeals to look at the fabricated rulings in my case. All 36 judges. I'm asking for that now. And there are no education. I'm quoting the law. I have the right to fully access and correct my records. My records are my property. I paid the fees that caused these records to be created and maintained. Oh, it looks like they scanned these backwards. Page 13 is backwards. It looks like whoever's scanning this is page 14. Okay, but again, there are no educational records here. Whoever scanned these didn't know what they were doing when they were scanning them. But again, so what you're going to have to do is go up here and change the view, rotate it so you can read it. But again, there are no educational records here. This is just my petition. This is just my motion. Right here, page 16 of 53 pages. There are no educational records here. John Scarfone went into federal court in 2010, and he lied. And the lie that he came up with was, oh yes, we gave Lydia Radin her educational records during her federal litigation. Oh, here, it looks like they know how to scan now. Oh, this is the opinion in the order. Judge Patterson's order and opinion. I'm making reference to it. But again, there are no educational records here. And so law enforcement and a whole lot of other people who I provided these CDs to can scroll with me and confirm that John Scarfone, Associate General Counsel John Scarfone, lied in Manhattan Criminal Court on the witness stand in 2010 when he claimed that certified copies of my educational records were provided. That's just a lie. Oh, here's Dan. This is the transcript from oral argument where Dan Rizal swears there were at least 2 hearings. Nope, that's a lie. And this is some more evidence that I'm providing. And again, I'm discussing Dan Rizal's perjury. Those are all the people I carbon copied. but there are no educational records here. How many people want to attend the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, a religious school where they violate the 10 Commandments by bearing false witness against their neighbor, that would be me, where they actually pay Rabbi Lamb and Yeshiva University, they're so religious, here we go, that they actually paid attorneys to lie in criminal court so that I could be illegally convicted and illegally incarcerated. This will be going to every pre-med worldwide. Here we go. Once again, there are no, oh look, this is the Dr. Guard case. Oh, I can't wait to get into the Dr. Guard case. This is going to be really good. Where they gave someone a medical degree and they claimed that student was psychotic. Where the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, where the standards are so low. This is from the Dr. Guard case. Where the standards are so low that contact with reality is not a requirement for the medical degree. And this is, again, no, oh yeah, look, these are the judges. These are the judges who ruled. There are their names. The judges who deliberately, willingly, intentionally, knowingly upheld fabricated rulings to hurt me and establish very dangerous precedents. Okay, so no educational records there. Here we go. Oh, this is, how many pages is this? Oh, this is my reply motion. Again, no educational records here. And we're about 20 minutes or so into this. Oh no, we're a little bit more than that. We're about 40 minutes into this. So I could pick up the pace a little bit. It will go a little quicker towards the end because the motions won't be so long, because we're just going through the meat and potatoes. And again, no educational records here. Okay, let's see what this is. Does this look like an educational record? No. This is Dan Rizal's affidavit. So this is Dan Rizal's affidavit, where Dan Rizal and his law firm tell a bunch of lies, but no educational records here. Blah, blah, blah. Dan Rizal's a liar. When he went to oral argument in 2005, I'd filed my lawsuit trying to get my complete unedited records from my medical school in 2004. And when we went in front of Judge Patterson in 2005, Dan Rizal swore that I got, oh, there's Dan Rizal. Dan Rizal swore that I got 2 hearings. Not true. No educational records here. These are not educational records. There are no this is just Judge Patterson's ridiculous opinion and order, wherein he upholds a fabricated, wholesale, made-up, ridiculous, dangerous ruling that that me, the plaintiff, the amended complaint, could point to no school policy that would give me, a former student, the right to access and correct her records. I don't need a school policy. I have federal law. I have FERPA, Federal Educational Rights and Privacy Act. Here, you probably want to look at this. This is May 2005 from the chambers of Judge Patterson. And recall that a month later, I found the deliberately falsified promissory note that I had forced Sally Mae to provide. Here you go. Let's enlarge this. See? Let's make it big enough so everybody can see it. It's from the chambers of Judge Patterson. This is May 2005. Let's make it even larger. Yep, this is when Judge Patterson upheld a fabricated ruling but there's no educational records here. These are not educational records. So in 2010, remember, the purpose of this exercise is to scroll through all these records. I'm just providing a little commentary so it's not incredibly boring. We're going to scroll through all these records to confirm that there are no educational records here. I'm going to have to do this, I think, in 3 parts because we're going on 48 minutes now. So, yep, you can turn on some music. You can have some chips. You can talk to your friends as you scroll through. This is the amount of effort that it takes. Completely mindless exercise. I'm sure the law enforcement agencies that I gave these CDs to can assign this to. This is the amount of effort that it takes to confirm that John Scarfone is a liar. Oh, and what did my criminal defense attorney do? Michael J. Redenberg. He aided and abetted. He participated in the crimes against me. I'm at criminal trial, screaming at my attorney, could you please question this witness? He just lied. And my privately paid criminal defense attorney, Michael J. Redenberg, is such a complete and, well, he's so grossly incompetent is like the best thing you can say, that he couldn't simply ask, Your Honor, could we get those records from her federal litigation and take a look at them and see if John Scarfone is telling the truth? Because John Scarfone is a liar. Now, let me bring down the magnification just a little bit. New educational records here. I should be playing a little music in the background, so this isn't incredibly boring. There are no educational records here. I'm going to have to do this in 3 parts. Nope, no educational records here. We're up to about 50 minutes of scrolling through this. This is not rocket science. Anybody can go to 500 Pearl Street, cite the docket number, sit there and scroll through it and confirm, because I went through this with law enforcement today, there are no educational records here. You could do this in 15 minutes over the course of each lunch hour. In about a week, you could confirm. If you don't want to sit here and do this for an hour, you could just scroll through it and confirm that there are no educational records here. Dan Rizal is a liar. So, this is the opinion and order of. So all I have to do is make copies of the CD and spread it around with page 198 of my criminal trial transcript to show that John Scarfone, Associate General Counsel at Yeshiva University, was paid to lie in criminal court about me. This is not the only lie he told. I will be presenting lie after lie after lie. And then all the pre-meds can decide if this is a place where you want to go to medical school. Nope, no educational records here. Nope, no educational records here. And since we're going on 51 minutes, we got to here, and the rest of these I'm going to do in another video. So we have to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We have to go through the last 17 documents. These are much shorter. It'll go much quicker. And we went through in this video 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The first 8 documents. And we're going to end it right here. And in the next video, we're going to scroll through all the rest of these to confirm that John Scarfone lied about me.